Hello, people. Andrew here, talking about comics from a reader, collector, speculator, investor point of view, in that order of importance to myself. And today I'm going through box 3. I was at a sale, a sidewalk sale for my local comic shop over a weekend past, and I bought 3 short boxes full of dollar bin books. You fill a short box for $100. This is box number 3. I'll start right away. There you can see that I got a relatively recent issue of Amazing Spider-Man, number 801. Good cover. The final book in Iron Man volume number 3. More Captain America material. You'll notice that a lot of the stuff, oh yeah, I have this actually in a trade paperback, so I'm not sure exactly why I decided that I wanted to get the actual physical copies one by one of Identity Crisis, but here they are nonetheless. This was a book that I've actually read before, and I have a copy of it, so this was bought on purpose. I'm interested in collecting this whole series. It was rather interesting, so I'll be looking for that. This is from, I think, 2015, I think it is. I like the original Howard the Duck series. I have no idea if this one's any good. There wasn't a lot of independent material out there, or stuff that I hadn't seen before or heard of. There were a few books, and this one looks like it might be inspired like some sort of horror type of thing, and I do like horror books, and so interested to see what this one's all about. This was probably one of the better finds. There wasn't a lot of key books in any way, shape, or form, just a lot of run filler more than anything else, and a lot of it was superhero based. A lot of Marvel, a lot of DC, not a lot of fringe material, which is fine. I mean, I just didn't pick up a lot of fringe material because there just wasn't a lot out there. This one I like because St. George number 2. I do like the Shadowline saga, so I'm interested in buying that. But this is also the very first appearance of Terror Inc., a very minor character, but this is his first appearance here in St. George number 2. And I picked up a couple other ones from that particular line in an effort to bring this one to a completion, which I haven't done yet, but it gets closer. Working on the Incredible Hercules, I picked up a batch of those at a dollar sale last year. It wasn't a bad tale. Once I get the whole thing, I'll go over Hercules himself, some of the stories. But I was so close, halfway through completing it anyways. I picked up these few issues to bring it to a close, or closer to a close. This was perhaps the most exciting find for me anyways, were these Teen Titan books, because the books that I'm going to show you complete my Teen Titans collection. Other than the Tales of the Teen Titans ran to, I don't know, something like 80 or 90 or something like that, but most of the issues, all of the issues from 59 till close are just reprinted issues from the New Titans that was released at the same time. Just reissuing that in a different format. So I'm not interested in the Tales of the Teen Titans Beyond here, because they are reprints. This one I wanted only because it reprints the first appearance of the new Teen Titans from DC Comics Presents, I think it's number 26. So getting the reprint of that was fun, but it's these books here that complete my run on the new Teen Titans. I've been searching for these for a number of years, and I've been picking up pieces, and there's just like the 4 of them left or whatever. So that was issue number 34, issue 55, issue 126, and issue 129. And that completes my new Teen Titans, or the New Titans run, like the complete thing from 1 to 130, as well as the original Teen Titans from the 80s, the Marv Wolfman, George Perez series. I'll do a video on that at some point in the future, because it really was a good series, and we'll go through all that again. But very excited to, if I can't get anything that's really, significant as far as speculation or all that, completing a series as deep as this, I'm always happy about stuff like that. All right, so that's that's batch 1. Let's go on to batch 2. Okay, so in one of these videos I talked about all the detective comics I got, and then I forgot that I had managed to also pick up a great deal of Batman stuff. A lot of the newer stuff, the Tom King material. Again, I like a good Batman story, so I'm interested in this. Now, there's also a number of variant covers in here. As I say, I'm not a variant cover person, but sometimes given a choice between two issues, one is the regular standard and one is a variant, depending on what the cover looks like. So it's all newer stuff, but as you can see, there's a price tag on here of $3.99. And being in Canada, it would be more in Canada, it'd be closer to $4.99. So getting all of these books here for 70 or 80 cents a piece is a great steal for me, and gives me a chance to read a lot of Batman. Relatively newer stuff that's been released within the last 10 years or so. And so I get to check out what was happening with Batman. I know that some people really liked the Tom King run, and other people didn't. So there was a couple of Tom King in there. This is a different writer now. Tinian 4, I don't know what that means. Is that a name? But you know, we get Joker story here. So this would be one of those variant covers. I had an option of buying a 94 regularly, or I could buy this one here. And I do like this sort of look on the cover. And same thing with this one here. So here we're up to issue number 96. Nice Catwoman cover. So as I say, a lot of this stuff is relatively new. I mean, it newer within the last 10 years, and I haven't read any of it. So looking forward to seeing where they've taken Batman, what direction they've gone in. I'm sure some of you have already read this material and you already know, but it'll be a surprise to me. And there was a lot of it, so happy to build on the Batman collection. And that's what I found with this dollar sale. This stuff, short box for $100, is that I wasn't getting a lot of, as I say, different stuff. I was just building on collections that I'm already working on. Again, I'll never finish the Batman series, but getting books towards that is fine with me, and also I like the character. As I said, I find him a versatile character, and lots of stories can be written about it. I like that cover. So, and it's not just Batman. It was, as I said, Detective Comics. There's a lot of Excalibur that I found, and Captain America. Some of these standard characters that I collect. You know, I managed to find a big chunk of it. I am sure there are other characters or books out there that, you know, somebody else got to that bin before I did. When I arrived, I mean, there's 15,000. I mistakenly said 150 last time, but there's 15,000 books to choose from. And when the gates were open for the sidewalk sale, there's like, you know, 40 or 50 long boxes already on display, and there was somebody pretty much in front of a box for the first 2 hours, which I was there for like 2 hours during the sale. At all times. So whatever box I went to first, I had first crack at what was in that, but there was other people in front of other boxes, of course, and they were picking out their favorite stuff from those boxes. So I probably missed out on a number of titles just because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But then on the other hand, I was in the right place at the right time for a number of books. And that dictated what it was that I was going to buy and what collections I was going to work on. These were the characters and collections that I saw. I really like that cover. So these are the ones that I bought. All right, on to the next batch. That's a nice Riddler cover too. All right. Sometimes I would find a stray. This was a stray. I imagine that there was a whole whack of Web of Spider-Man books in one of these bins, and as I say, somebody else was there before me. So this was just a copy left behind. So I'll pick that one up. This one was, I thought it was, I'm reading a Ghost Rider story. I don't remember this, and this is the variant edition. It's not really a Ghost Rider book from the Ghost Rider series. It's from the King in Black series. So there was a King in Black miniseries that was something like 5 issues long, and then there were all these little one-shots attached to a character. I don't know anything at all about the King in Black storyline. This is, I think, the first book that I have that's associated with that, so we'll see how that goes. I managed to pick up a fair amount of Green Arrow. As I said, I'm looking for the series that was started by Mike Grell in the 80s. This is the follow-up series. And then there was the Green Arrow and Black Canary series. So I added to that again. I do like the character of the Green Arrow. I know that they've changed some of the things through the rebirth and reboot and all that sort of stuff that I wasn't crazy about, but this will give me a better idea of what it is that I'm not so crazy about. This again is like the King in Black. It is a Green Arrow book, but it's not listed as Green Arrow. It's Convergence was I think a 9-issue series from DC, and then they had pretty much all of their characters had a 2-issue Convergence tie-in. So this is book 2 of the Green Arrow one. This was the Rebirth, was it? I don't know if it was a Rebirth or the next, the New 52. I think it might have been the new. I don't know. It was the next series of the Green Arrow. So as I say, I like the character. Let's see what they've done with it. This was all the Rebirth stuff that I got from Green Arrow. And as I say, it's a character that I do like. It's one of the few DC characters that I'm building a collection on. So again, happy that when I got to the Green Arrow bin, there was not another Green Arrow reader at the time, or follower or collector. So I managed to get all of this Green Arrow material. That's just the annual thrown in the middle there. But a lot of this material, and a sizable chunk of it too. So I'll have a good read and good idea of what's going on. I like these covers. There's stuff about them. So we'll see how this story goes. Again, I don't know. I don't think there's any like minor keys in these particular issues of Green Arrow. There may be, but it's also one of those things when you buy books in this kind of bulk and whatever, and you buy them now, and I'm buying them for 70 or 80 cents a piece, and there doesn't seem to be any minor keys. Something may happen and trigger 10 years from now where they've taken a character from one of these runs and turned it into something a little bit more special, and it becomes a minor key. That's what I find with a lot of the books where they say this is a minor key, and actually sometimes I think we sort of stretch a little bit for minor keys, but that's okay. The more key books and minor keys and more things for reasons to buy and collect comic books is fine with me. But the first mention of this, the second team up of these people, and etc. So this is the final issue of this particular run, which is good. That was a sizable chunk of books that I read for this run. I bought a lot of the New Mutant stuff, and they were here in box number 1 of series number 3. But I'm really interested in series number 2. I already have the full first series, but it's series number 2 that I genuinely have an interest in. And I managed to pick up some of the final ones for that particular series. That was number 7. That's number 9. And then we're going on to a new batch. Hold on a second. I just got to swap these out. All right. Yeah, so this is volume 2 of the New Mutants, and these are the final few issues here. It was a very short run. It was only 13 issues long, so that was number 10, there's number 11, there's number 12, and then number 13. So happy to get those books to work towards the closing of volume number 2. I think there's about 3 or 4 that I need. Once again, one of the characters that I've been buying a fair amount of over the last few years actually would be Thor. So whenever I can add to the Thor, it's a good thing. And again, Thor, like so many of these other characters, has so many titles attached to it and so many books and legacy numbering all over the place. Here we go. That was issue number 600, and now we bump up to issue number 700, and at this point in time, Jane Foster is Thor. So there's a lot of reading, a lot of lore to go through for these books. Getting all of these 700 books was I was happy about that. This is the first time that I've actually seen these in a dollar dollar bin at all. So getting them for 70 or 80 cents was really sweet. I believe it is the death of the Mighty Thor. This leads into Jane Foster's ultimate demise. I'm guessing by the issue, was it 706 when we see that one, and she looks like she's, from what I understand, she has cancer, and then she doesn't survive the cancer. And then there was this little one shot here at the gates of Valhalla, which obviously makes me believe that Jane Foster doesn't make it and survives there. Although there was a book that I picked up, and it was in box number 2, called Jane Foster Valkyrie. So that's possibly and probably the follow-up series to all of this, her time as the Mighty Thor. Captain America, another book that I've been buying a fair amount of, getting an annual in there. Iron Fist, I like Iron Fist. I've been collecting a lot of his stuff, the Immortal Iron Fist. I forgot all about this series from, 1999, I think this one is. It's either 98 or 99. It's a 3-issue series, and managed to get issues number 2 and 3. And then a lot of Hulk material. Again, another character that I've been filling in all kinds of the run. I was happy to get Hulk stuff because, as I say, another character that I do like, and I think some people can tell a really good Hulk story. This is Donny Cates writing this. I don't know how well that story is. We'll find out when I get to reading all of this sort of stuff. This is newer stuff. This is stuff probably within the last 2 or 3 years, I believe. I mean, we're up to the loyalty numbering here is at 780. So, and the nature of the numbering makes me think that it's a newer material. This is a second printing of Peter David and a story called Last Call. So I got a couple of other little extra. This is the official movie adaptation, but it's the Ang Lee film. Now, a lot of people didn't like the Ang Lee film. I liked it. I thought the dogs were a bit goofy, but I thought other aspects of it were pretty good. Grand Design Madness. No idea what this one is about. But it looks like I don't know who Jim Rugg is. I don't know any of his material. It sounds like he might be of an independent and have a mind to write something a little bit different. And then I picked up a bunch of other Hulk too. I think there was more stuff in the 360s, 400s, but that was picked up by somebody else before me. But I did manage to get the second series, a ton of stuff from the second series. And because of all the material I've bought from the second series over the last couple of years, it's like 112 issues long, and I'm probably just about 20 issues shy of completing this whole run, the Hulk Volume 2. Actually, I guess it would be Volume 3, because the first 6 issues would be considered Volume 1. And then it goes to Tales to Astonish, and then becomes Hulk with 101. They converted over to 101 after Tales to Astonish, and that runs to 400 and something. And then you get into volume 2 or 3, and this is that volume. It's got the Man-Thing on it. I love Man-Thing stuff. So here we go with issue number 6. All of this is pretty much going to be Hulk material from that run, from the we'll call it the third series of the Hulk. But as I say, I'm only about 20 issues shy of completing this whole run, and that's just all, well, not all, but mostly from dollar bin material. So I'm curious as to read how this went. I liked the stuff that was written by Bruce Jones during this run. And that stuff, at least about 20 or 30 issues of the Bruce Jones stuff I bought when it was released. Part of that was because it was the return of the monster, and I like that. As I say, I like the Hulk. Probably, I like the stories where it's like the man-monster. I find some of the other stories are good, Mr. Fix and all that sort of stuff, but I really like the man-monster type of story. And the whole concept of Bruce Jones when his initial run was the return of the monster. That inspired me to pick up the Hulk. And then there was all those great covers that were released during that time, which we'll go through, and they were an inspiration as well. I mean, the artist was inspired to do all kinds of different things and use different techniques, and not necessarily imitate, but along those lines of various styles of various artists. And he does homage to various books or movies or whatever. So I did like what he was doing there with the covers. So this is, again, all of this stuff is from volume 3. And, I'm interested in reading this stuff. I think it's Dan Jenkins is the writer on this one. I don't know who Holtz is here, or Hotz. I don't know that particular artist. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's doing the covers. It's somebody else. I don't recognize the signature down here. And this is from 2000, so that looks like a Romita thing. Yeah, well, here we go. John Romita Jr. is now taking over doing some of the artwork by the looks of it. At least for that issue. McKeever, that's Ted McKeever as far as I know, and I like Ted McKeever's material, so I was just like a one-shot, because now it looks like we're back to Dan Jenkins and John Romita Jr. So, a lot of Hulk stuff from that run. I have read, much of the later stuff beyond this. I think the Return of the Monster happened like issue 33 or 34 or something like that. And as you see, I'm crawling up to that issue. This all happened prior to that, so interesting to see what that's all about. Legacy numbering, we're up to 505 for this one. Yeah, so as I say, I bought a lot of stuff that I was interested in that was available. So, and that's a fun one. It's the Immortal Hulk, because again, it went through all kinds of different Hulk variations. All right, another batch. All right, last batch from this box. As I mentioned, I think it was box 1, when I pulled out a few issues of Captain Marvel, 31, 2, and 3 or something like that, that there was more to come. And here's the more to come. It's almost complete now. It's only like a 35 issue series for Captain Marvel. And this is volume 2 of Captain Marvel, the Spaceborne Captain Marvel, not Ms. Marvel or Carol Danvers or whoever else. This is, the Kree Captain Marvel. And I bought this series. I wasn't necessarily going to buy this series, but Peter David, who had passed away, as I say, earlier this year, unfortunately, is one of my favorite authors or writers of comic books. I haven't, again, mentioning, I haven't read his books, so I don't know what his books are like, but I do like what he wrote with his comic books. So discovering that Captain Marvel was written by Peter David, I decided that if I get the chance, I will buy the Captain Marvel material. And at this sale, I pretty much bought the whole collection. I'm short like about 3 or 4 issues out of the 35. So that will be an interesting read. As I said, I have a few of these already. I had like issue 1 and issue 17 and 18 or something like that. So this is a pretty good run of Captain Marvel as written by Peter David. So we'll see how it is. Covers look interesting enough. It's more of a cosmic book. And I like some cosmic stories. I know there was some books that I passed over that there was a sizable chunks that I could have picked up. Green Lantern and the Justice League of America, but those are not characters that I'm particularly interested in or books that I'm particularly interested in, so I passed through all of that stuff. And that was it. I mean, there's still going to be choices to be made even in a dollar bin with this, and what I choose is not necessarily what somebody else chooses, and vice versa. I mean, you'll notice an incredible lack of X-Men books in here, like Astonishing X-Men, New X-Men, X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, because I'm not as big on X-Men as I am on some of these other characters. And there are other X-Men Wolverine fans, and they would have bought sizable chunks of those books. So getting all of this Captain Marvel stuff was great, because again, it's all written by Peter David. Even in Enough Said, look, named Best Hero of 2000 by Wizard. Not that that means a great deal, but I mean it did get some knowledge from somebody else. So very happy to get all of this Captain Marvel material, and it'll be a fair read. And again, written by Peter David. So we'll see how that goes. So that's issue 30. Oh, and that's it for Captain Marvel. As I said, there's only a few issues left to complete that series. And then these last few books I found from Catwoman's first full series. I mean, there was the mini-series of 4 issues, and then she branched off into her own series in the early 90s, and here are just some of the earlier issues of that. Again, I like Catwoman enough that I'll pick these ones up. And that's the last book from this particular sale. So I had a good time at the sale. Bought a lot of stuff, a lot of big chunks and runs for books that I've been reading. A lot more current stuff within the last 10 to 20 years than anything from the 90s, 80s. And as I say, I don't think there was a bronze book in there. Maybe the Ripley's, believe it or not. But there was only the one Silver Age book in beat up condition that I got in out of box one. But I enjoy enough with getting all of this relatively new stuff at such a ridiculously low cost. It's all in sharp condition. It's going to be a lot of reading material, and that's my prime focus, is to read these books. And then, I do collect them, but I do read everything that I buy. So this is going to offer me a great deal of reading on characters that I do like. That's it. I'll be visiting that sale again next year. But in the meantime, be good to yourself, be good to others, and we'll talk again soon.